Welcome into the Rob Breaux Show. I am Rob Breaux. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by getting into that starting line, chat line over there. Let's go, Roy says, on the second Monday of the week. Yes, it is Overreaction Tuesday. I was out of pocket yesterday in Albuquerque in the worst hotel room ever. I was like, I'll just go live from the hotel room in the morning after the concert. No desk, no chair, no short thing I could stand in front of. Just one of the worst hotel configurations I've ever seen. There was a counter with a sink outside the bathroom. No sink in the bathroom, just a toilet and a shower. Strange setup for this hotel. It was the Super 8 in Albuquerque, if you're wondering. First overreaction of the weekend. Disturbed Sound of Silence is the greatest live song I've ever seen in my life. Disturbed Sound of Silence. Yes, the cover. Greatest live performance I've ever seen. And I've not seen a ton of live performances, but they had cellos, they had a piano, the guitar player was playing piano, the bassist was playing guitar. Everyone was switching it up. The drummer was on the timpanis. It was fantastic. Roy, if I ever lay in bed and FaceTime a show, it might be one of the last shows I ever do. I'll be in the hospital or something. Haley checking in, the co-host, there on the starting line counseling chat line. Overreaction Tuesday. Texas is hotter than I remember. It's never going to cool down. Welcome in Alan from Utah. Now Alan from Texas again. Started out Alan from Texas. Then he was Alan from Utah. Now he's Alan from Texas again. Congratulations on the return. I don't know why I went full Dan Patrick, assigning you a location after your name, but I did. Alan from Texas, chiming in. We've got a lot to talk about today, including this concert I went to, some more overreactions. The Albuquerque Amphitheater, the Isleta Amphitheater, nice venue. But you all leave at the same time, walking up a hill together that is condensed. People were mooing. I almost had a panic attack. It was brutal. I almost called Chase in the middle of the walk-ups. Just, hey, man, this is getting to me. It was crazy. Anyways, the mooing is what got me, really. The mooing, it was funny for like 5 seconds, and then people mooed for about 10 minutes straight, and it was like, all right, I get it. You think we're cattle, but we're just walking half steps at a time. Let's just all be quiet. Oh, Chase, you just missed your mention. I haven't done the ad read yet, but I almost called you from the middle of a walk up a hill with about 6,000 other people in about a space for 2,000 people. I was touching on all four sides. It was something else. Some people like that. I don't like crowds. I'm not a crowd guy, but went to this concert with my nephew, Breaking Benjamin, and then Disturbed, both great, both big high school fan. I was a big high school fan, a fan in high school of both of those bands. Hadn't listened to them much since, but it was fun times reliving all of the Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin songs of my youth. Breaking Benjamin said they've been doing it for 20 years. They've been touring for 20 years, which is about when I was in high school, give or take 5. So that was a fun time. And also why I wasn't live yesterday, because I was in Albuquerque in the worst hotel room of all time. Sports is happening. The Texas Rangers losing last night in tough fashion. Aroldis Chapman is really good against everybody but Houston. Kind of has some PTSD maybe against Houston. Maybe Aroldis Chapman needs to talk to starting line counseling. Chase says he saw Breaking Benjamin in 2006 in Fort Worth. Good show. It was a good show. And it was great to get 2 headliners, because Breaking Benjamin's certainly a headliner, and then Disturbed, certainly a headliner. Disturbed had fire going on in the background the whole time. Lots of pyrotechnics. It was a good show. It's a good show there in Albuquerque, even though I was in Albuquerque. Also, Overreaction Monday. The roads in Albuquerque are the absolute worst. I guess they're redoing I-40, and they redid a lot of 380 coming back. 380 was really nice coming back. I did not want to drive on I-40 again. I-40, they absolutely jobbed me. Going down I-40, okay? It breaks down into one lane, and then you have to cross into east, I-40 east, and go west on the east, and everyone's in one lane, okay? One lane going east, one lane going west. So I'm going west on the I-40 east, and they have 8 miles of signs for this Flying C road stop. I need gas. We haven't eaten lunch. We're in Marathon, New Mexico. So I pull over, get over to the Marathon, New Mexico Flying C. We stay for about 30 minutes, look around. Nephew eats Dairy Queen. We try to get back on. It says detour west, and I have to go east. Okay. So I'm like, all right, surely I missed a turnaround or something. No, I have to drive 8 miles back. 8 miles back to where I started the one lane traffic. Then I hit a turnaround. So I added 16 miles to my drive, which doesn't sound like much, but good grief. That sucked. Driving that double I-40 disaster twice. So I didn't go home on I-40. I went home on I-380. Anyways, that's just me complaining. Hi, Lubbock, Llanero. Fireworks for the kids. Okay, says there on the chat line. Chris chimes in, New Mexico roads suck in general. Yes, they do, but they have a bunch of signs up that they're spending like $2.5 billion or something on the roads in New Mexico, and a lot of the 380 roads in the mountains were really nice. I was impressed on the way home. I was. Overreaction for Overreaction Tuesday. Ranger fans are soft. I was going to get to this, Chase. I was going to get to this. It's been 8 years of bad baseball, terrible baseball, he says. It's late July, and we have meaningful baseball on our hands. If it ends up being the 2009 Rangers, I'll take it. Me too. You might brutally miss the playoffs. You might brutally get into the playoffs and lose in the first round there in the wild card. You might be a wild card behind the Astros. You might win the division and then lose in the first round of the playoffs. You might miss the playoffs in general. Whatever it is, the Texas Rangers are in the playoff hunt. That's awesome. It's July 25th, and the Texas Rangers lead the division by 2.5 games. Is it 2 or 2.5? The Astros won last night, so they definitely gained a game. Oh, man. Great radio here. I guess it's a stream. 2, solid 2. You're up 2 games, 59-42. The Astros right behind you, and in a series, 57-44. You very well could be tied at the end of this series. The Astros 7-3 in their last 10. The Rangers 7-3 in their last 10. 7-2 since the All-Star break. Losing 2 to the Dodgers last weekend. Sweeping the Rays, sweeping the Guardians. You're in the mix. You're in the mix. You're not a seller at the trade deadline. You're not a bum. You're in the mix. And I guess that's an overreaction, but the Texas Rangers haven't been there since 2016. When's the last time you truly were in the mix at the All-Star break? Bannister was in the mix a couple of times, but Woodward never was. And you're right there. Right there. If you win 1 from the Astros, you're still in the lead after the Astros series. And this is in Houston. You just got to win 1. And if you don't win 1 and you get swept, you're tied with the Astros on July 27th. If you told me before the season you'd be tied in the division lead with the Astros on July 27th, I would have said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bring it on. Overreaction Tuesday from Haley on the starting line chat line. If Nelson Cruz catches that ball, Rangers fans wouldn't be so desperate to get back to the World Series to make it right. Maybe not. I still contend, obviously the game's over if Nelson Cruz makes that catch. And who knows what happens after. But you could have won that game twice after Nelson Cruz missed the catch. And you had a game 7. So I know we all like to hammer Nelson Cruz, but overreaction here on my own end, he gets an unfair brunt of the criticism for losing that game 2 more times after the Nelson Cruz bobble. I think you even had down to 1 strike again before you gave up another home run. Start, bench, cut, dentist, doctor, taking your car to the mechanic. I would start the mechanic. I don't like people touching me. Bench the doctor, cut dentist. I don't need anyone inside my mouth. Root's going to get a hold of that one. Could have won twice. Thanks, Ron Washington. Should have also thrown Holland in game 7. I agree with all of that. You definitely should have won that World Series. And maybe that is why you're so hungry still, because you've never had – don't clip that. You've never had one, and I get it. I'm hungry too. I won a Texas Rangers World Series, but you're in a window here. You're not just this year. You're in a window. The Rangers or the Astros Super Bowl. I agree, Alan from Texas. That's just your name now. The Astros care more about beating the Rangers than winning the division. That could be true. You certainly feel that from Astros fans on Twitter who are obsessed with the Texas Rangers and being mad at their own team. All right. I want to get into a few things besides the Rangers today. Certainly can do more Rangers if you guys want to. I want to talk briefly about Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh suspended for 4 games as part of a resolution negotiation with the NCAA. This stems from him lying to the NCAA. My overreaction, good for Jim Harbaugh. Yes, lie, deny. What? Recruiting violations? I don't know the circumstances that led up to those recruiting violations. What recruiting violations? We recruit here in Michigan? Are you serious? We allowed what to happen? Deny. Your coach gets 4 games, and you get to play in the playoffs. By the way, you think Michigan can beat East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers without Jim Harbaugh? East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. Multiple Wolverine assistants also expected to receive some punishment, including the offensive coordinator and tight ends coach. I'm sure they can stagger those suspensions as they do. They get around a lot of stuff there. That story from Adam Silverstein with CBS Sports from about 20 minutes ago. This said that he is expected to be suspended for the first 4 games of the 2023 college football season as part of a negotiated resolution between the program and the NCAA. Harbaugh is accused of providing false information or misleading information to the NCAA during an investigation into alleged recruiting violations made in 2021 during an extended recruiting dead period stemming from COVID-19. Harbaugh says Harbaugh's attorney, they're continuing to work cooperatively with the NCAA staff on the enforcement matter, but they are not allowed to comment on possible penalties. Deny, deny, deny. That's what you have to do with the NCAA, or it doesn't matter. All right, some comments here. What is Michigan going to do when they play Tulsa and Barber College? Yeah, exactly. If you don't lie to the NCAA, you get Oklahoma State penalties. Yes. Would you rather your head coach and offensive coordinator be suspended for 4 games or not be able to play in the playoff if you qualify? Not be able to play in a New Year's Six Bowl. And Michigan is not going to self-impose. That's the dumbest thing. They're not going to self-impose a postseason ban with a chance at the playoffs just because in 2021 there were some moments outside of a dead period. Not going to happen. Roy says, I'm picking Rutgers depending on the choice of uniforms. All right. Real punishment, suspended for the last 4 games. That would be the real punishment. I mean, Bowling Green. Bowling Green and Rutgers, UNLV, East Carolina. Brutal. But Overreaction Tuesday, good for Jim Harbaugh. Good for him protecting the brand. He's a Michigan man protecting Michigan. Lie to the NCAA. They ask you questions, plead the fifth, deny, deny, deny. I'm not a proponent of lying generally, but lie to the NCAA. Tell them whatever you want. Cooperate, be shady, whatever it is, give to the NCAA what they give to you. Lubbock and Arrow. Rob, since you and Kyle are our resident uniform gurus, what do you think of all these new NFL throwback uniforms? Seahawks, A+. Vikings, no opinion. I'll let Kyle give an opinion on that tomorrow night with the Gauchos. Bucks, A+. Broncos, A+. Titans, F. They either should have been the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Oilers, or given that name back. Just like the Ravens didn't keep the Colts. If you change your name, you shouldn't keep all that history. Move on. Just move on. Love you, blue there in the neckline. You don't own that history. The Texans should be able to wear throwback Oilers uniforms. The Texans should be able to wear the Oilers uniforms, not the Titans. It just makes no sense. I mean, seriously, you don't see the Baltimore Orioles. You don't see the Ravens wearing Colts throwbacks. Sorry. You don't see the Colts. What am I trying to say? The Browns. You don't see the Ravens wearing Browns throwbacks. There's a new team in Houston. They should have been the Oilers. You should have just continued that. I don't like the Texans logo or anything else. They should have continued on the Oilers history. I don't like that. Browns. The Baltimore Ravens went to Baltimore from the Browns. Speaking of the Texans, when do they relocate? I don't think they do. What should the Washington football team change their name to? You know what? I don't give a rat's behind. I was fine with the Redskins. I understand the history of it and why they wanted to change it. I was fine with them changing it. I liked the football team. They do it in soccer all the time. Dallas FC. This is the Dallas Football Club. I like the Washington football team. I don't like the Commanders. I don't like their uniforms. I'm fine with them changing it again. It's just a money grab one more time for the new owners to sell a bunch of merch. Whatever the next one is, though, the NFL should give a 10-year, you have to stick with this one. All right, 10 years, this is your name. Whatever you choose, 10 years, you can't be flip-flopping around on a name every other year. Just pick one. And in some ways, I think they should just stick with Commanders. I understand wanting to get away from Dan Snyder's legacy and history. There were a lot of cool names. If you want to go back to football history, the Hogs would be a fun name. You know, I'm a proponent of the Fathlete. Move the Texans to San Antonio. I don't think San Antonio deserves the team. How about that? I'm with my man Jerry Jones on that one. All right, before we get into the final section of the show, talking about Colorado, have you been struggling with depression, anxiety, mood disorder, or addiction? Maybe you've been wanting to attend marriage counseling, or you've recently gone through divorce. Maybe you need to talk to someone who can help you tackle the day-to-day challenges of life. All of us have been through difficult times. But if you can't get out of the office, or if you can't get away from home, that shouldn't be why you don't seek the help you need. Starting Line Counseling and Consulting is a therapy practice that is 100% telehealth-based. So it's easy to meet with a licensed professional anytime, anywhere. Chase Wade, owner and founder of Starting Line Counseling and Consulting, is a two-time Texas Tech graduate and licensed professional counselor with only over 10 years of experience as a clinician. Only 10 years. Over 10 years. Chase believes in establishing an authentic relationship with his clients and helping them set realistic objectives to reach their goals. I was basically a shut-in before I started my therapy, and now I'm out and about, going to Albuquerque for concerts. It really did change my life. It can change yours too. Whether you're new to therapy or looking to continue care with a new therapist, don't waste any more time. Call 325-766-7284. That's 325-766-7284. Or go to startinglinecounseling.com and schedule a free 15-minute consultation with Chase today. That is startinglinecounseling.com. Startinglinecounseling.com. Okay. Final bit of business today as we close out the show. Overreaction Monday. Colorado needs to be in the Big 12 today. This is a ridiculous task that they're trying to do in the Pac-12. Sam Bradshaw on Twitter, a Baylor Sikkim 365 correspondent, put the death knell in this back on July 20th. Hadn't talked on a show since about this. I wanted to bring it up here on Overreaction Tuesday. In 2002, when the team left an exit fee of $6,800, in 2010, an exit fee of $6.8 million put them in a 6.8 negative hole. They never recovered. The next year, the Pac-12 payout was $3.4 million to Colorado. The Big 12's payout would have been $14.3. In 2013, a huge jump for both as they were a full share member, still $1 million short in the Pac-12. Pac-10, whatever it was back then. Pac-12, I guess, once Colorado got there. In 14, 15, and 16, it was a negligible difference, or they were up $1.6 million over the Big 12. Since then, negatives on payouts, 3.3, 3.8, 7.5, 6.5, $15 million in the COVID year, 5.6 and 8. They have not matched a payout since 2016 in the Pac-12. their Big 12 share would have been larger in 8 of the 10 seasons. 8 of the last 10 seasons, a larger payout. The COVID year, obviously the biggest disingenuous speculation here, and you can cut everything since the pandemic. Even before that, 3.3, 3.8, 7.5, 6.5. Colorado is bleeding money. Bleeding. At Pac-12 Media Days, the AD, Coach Prime's not even there. The AD goes in his stead, answers some questions, and then he's supposed to go to a separate media scrum. Maybe he doesn't know. He just leaves. He just leaves. Media day. Why? Why is that? Because he doesn't want answers about going to the Big 12. He doesn't want to answer. Lots of smoke right now about UConn coming to the Big 12, or at least making a move. Don't need to go into the financials of UConn not being in the Big 12 for the last 10 years. All told, since Colorado left the Big 12, they have theoretically lost out on $67.2 million. $67 million. If they stayed in the Big 12, they could have recruited Texas and been paid out $67 more million than they made. They made $316 million. They could have made $383. Just the athletic department. Most of the Pac-12 schools are bleeding money, some more than others, yes. But Colorado has an opportunity to be in the Big 12. Not all Pac-12 schools have an opportunity to be in the Big 12. I think maybe 3 of them do. Well, 5 have the opportunity. 2 aren't going to take it. Haley is correct. But academic research, we need to be linked with Stanford. You don't. You don't. Overreaction Tuesday. Colorado should have announced to the Big 12 yesterday. It is a perfect fit for both parties. You're trying to get more west. You're trying to link yourself with BYU out there in the Western Hemisphere. You're trying to connect Colorado back to Texas in the recruiting grounds. It goes both ways. Of the Pac-12 teams beyond Arizona, Colorado is a perfect fit. You don't have to worry about baseball. They can play fake baseball with Iowa State. Utah won't leave because they're in a perpetual poverty mindset. I don't want Utah to leave. I want Utah to stay right where they are. Overreaction Tuesday. Brett Yormark is the best commissioner the Big 12 has ever had. He's certainly better than Bowlesby. He's better than Beebe. I mean, I'd give him another year or 2, but I don't think that's overreaction. Brett Yormark is killing it. Absolutely killing it. I mean, him reading off that list of accomplishments at Big 12 Media Days. In 1 year, he's accomplished this. 1 year. And I understand social media following And some of that stuff isn't directly making everything better, but it sure does make a difference. Sure does. All right. We've hit 30 minutes. If you're looking for help, startinglinecounseling.com. If you're looking for sports content, Gambling Gauchos on Twitter, at Rob Breaux Show on Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now. Overreaction Tuesday, that's not going to matter. X.com, Twitter. Everyone's still going to call it Twitter. It's Twitter. Just a logo. And then YouTube.com. If you're watching on YouTube right now, smash that like button. Comment on the starting line chat line. Do everything you can to help our algorithms. All right. We'll see y'all later.